Good evening, students. I was discussing cloning vector in the previous class. Vector is the agent which is used to transfer the desired gene from one organism to another organism. And I have listed out which are the vectors which are commonly used in genetic engineering. See, present day vectors. Present day vectors which are there are engineered. They are engineered in such a way that helps in present day vectors are engineered, manipulated in such a way that helps in insertion of foreign DNA or gene into the vector easily. The present day vectors are engineered in such a way that it can help in easy insertion or introduction of a desired gene or foreign DNA or foreign gene into the vector. Then another selection of recombinants. Selection of recombinants. Recombinants means the host cell which has a foreign DNA in it. Recombinants, or you can use another term, transformants. Transformants from selection of recombinants or transformants from non-recombinants. From non-recombinants. So these 2 points you have to remember. Then I was mentioning about the essential features of what we call a good cloning vector. Essential features of a good cloning vector. The vector should have these features for cloning of a gene. So I mentioned that override, selectable marker, cloning site, and size of vector. These are the features of a good cloning vector for efficient cloning of a gene using a vector in the host cell. Recombinants, the host cell which is having foreign DNA in it, foreign gene in it, that is recombinant or transformant. The host cell which do not has the foreign gene or foreign DNA in it, that is non-recombinant or non-transformant. Remember. See, usually plasmids are the most commonly used vectors. So the plasmids can have these essential features. That's why they serve as good cloning vector. So first we have to discuss about override. First point is override. Suppose if this is a plasmid, plasmids are small, double-stranded, circular, extrachromosomal DNA having self-replicating property. It independently replicates it independently multiply from the host cell. So this vector should have ORI. So this is ORI. ORI stands for origin of replication. ORI stands for origin of replication. This is a DNA, double-stranded DNA. This ORI is the specific nucleotide sequence. ORI has specific nucleotide sequence which initiate replication process. Vector like plasmid has its own ORI. Because of that, it has self-replicating property, it can make its own identical copies, independent of the host chromosome, host DNA, chromosomal DNA. So, ORI is a site in a vector which has specific nucleotide sequence. There, ARS can be present. Autonomous replicating sequences. Autonomous replicating sequences which can initiate the replication process so that the plasmid can multiply and produce its own identical copies. Then, when we want to introduce a foreign gene in it, say we want to insert a foreign gene, so this is a foreign gene. This gene we want to multiply. Hence, when we link this foreign gene in the vector which contains ORI, this gene can be multiplied. This gene can be multiplied. How many times the vector can multiply? So many copies of this gene can be produced. Under natural conditions, the plasmid can form 20 to 30 copies per cell. Say E. coli cell, Escherichia coli bacterial cell, which is commonly used as host cell. So, under natural condition, the vector plasmid can replicate, can multiply and produce 20 to 30 copies. The question comes, why not more? Bacterial cell itself is very smaller in size, range in micron, 1 to 3 micron or likely more than that. So, if more number of these copies are there that can exert a lot of pressure on the cell can burst. So, how many copies can be naturally accommodated in the cytoplasm of the bacterial cell? So many copies can be preferred usually. So, we can multiply the desired gene of interest. We can get several copy number of the desired gene of interest which has been linked with the ORI in the plasmid vector, in a vector. Then, ORI is also having control unit, replication control unit. Sequences are there, specific sequences are there. Specific sequences control or controlling the copy number of linked DNA, aligned DNA, which we have inserted the genome. See, it has ORI initiate the replication. It also has a controlling unit. It has specific sequences which are involved in it control the production of copy number of linked DNA. Means how many copies of the gene should be produced by the multiplication or replication of this vector. That control unit also can be present in it. So, if you want to produce a desired DNA or a foreign DNA or gene, multiple copies, it is essential to link that gene with the vector having ORI site, which should be efficient. efficient ORI should be there. When the efficient ORI is there, it definitely allow the multiplication of the vector DNA or plasmid. At the same time, the gene can also be multiplied. You get large number of identical copies of the desired gene which has been linked with this vector. Remember. So this is about ORI, origin of replication. Then next we have selectable marker. The next is selectable marker. So what is this selectable marker? Selectable markers are actually genes present in the vector. Selectable marker is a gene or genes present in the vector. So these selectable marker helps in identifying and eliminating and eliminating the non-transformants. Non-transformants, or what we say, non-recombinants. Non-recombinant. Selectable markers are the genes. They can encode or codes for antibiotic resistance. Remember, selectable markers are the genes which can code for antibiotic resistance. So these selectable marker genes help in identifying non-transformed bacterial cells, identifying and eliminating the non-transformants or non-recombinant, means the bacterial cell or the host cell which do not have recombinant DNA in it, or which do not have foreign DNA in it, foreign gene in it. So such cells can be identified and can be eliminated with the help of the selectable marker. They are the genes. So selectable markers can be present. Here, selectable markers can be present. In the vector, we learn the structure of PBR322, we will come to know. Okay. Then it helps in identifying and eliminating the non-transformants and selectively permits the growth of recombinants or transformants remember. So it selectively permits the growth of recombinants. Selectively permit the growth of recombinant means, suppose if this is the bacterial cell, this is the chromosomal DNA, host chromosomal DNA, naked DNA, and here you have recombinant DNA. The host cell, the bacterial cell or any other cell which has recombinant DNA or foreign DNA in it, that is recombinant or transformant. If recombinant DNA, if foreign insert is not there, then it is non-recombinant. Suppose if the bacterial cell do not have recombinant DNA, this can be regarded as non-recombinant or non-transformant bacteria. Non-transformant host cell, whatever it is. Most commonly used host cell is bacterial cell, E. coli cell. That's why I'm mentioning bacterial cell. Now, I told that the genes, no, selectable markers are the genes which can encode or which can code for the antibiotic resistance, antibiotic resistant property. So here, the commonly used host cell, you know, that is E. coli. The selectable markers which are effective in E. coli are one antibiotic, that is tetracycline resistant. In short, what we will write? TTR, tetracycline resistant. Then ampicillin resistant. Ampicillin resistant. If such genes are there in the vector, if such genes are there in the vector and that recombinant DNA introduced into the bacterial cell, host cell, this bacterial cell can develop resistance against these antibiotics, specific antibiotic. Depending on the kind of the antibiotic resistant gene present in the vector or in the recombinant DNA, that host cell can develop resistance against that particular antibiotic. Kanamycin resistant, then chloramphenicol resistant gene. So these are all antibiotics, remember. Tetracycline, ampicillin, kanamycin, chloramphenicol. These are all antibiotics. So selectable markers are the genes which can code for antibiotic resistance. The normally used host cell is E. coli. These antibiotic resistant genes used as selectable marker. These are used as selectable markers found to be effective in E. coli. E. coli. So these selectable marker, that is antibiotic resistant gene, helps in identifying and eliminating or removing non-transformed host cell or bacterial cell from recombinant or transformed bacterial cell. Means host cell having foreign DNA in it can be separated from other host cell which do not have foreign DNA or recombinant DNA in them. Naturally, ಅದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಈಗ ಇದು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಅವರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ಸರಿ naturally E. coli cell do not has resistance to these antibiotics. Naturally, E. coli cell do not have resistance to these antibiotics. These antibiotics which I have mentioned. So remember, selectable markers are the gene which can code for antibiotic resistance.